Hey everybody, it's Father Brice. Good evening on this Wednesday, and welcome to Asked and Answered. The question today is the Catholic Mass really the same all around the world? I'll tell you, about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago now, I was blessed to travel to Thailand to visit an orphanage. Now, Thailand is literally on the other side of the world. It's a 12-hour time difference. When I emailed my mama, I couldn't call her because, Thailand. But when I emailed her, it was, I emailed her at noon and it was midnight. And then she'd respond like the next day to check in, that I got there safely and that kind of thing. And I tell you, I went to Mass and they said Mass in Thai. And I couldn't read the writings. I was there for a week and I learned about 3 words in Thai. But I knew what was going on in the Mass. I could follow along and I could pray the Mass. I knew when to kneel. I knew when to sit. I knew when to stand. And yeah, and obviously the priesthood was valid, so Jesus was the same. The Eucharist was the same, and there was the Mass. So is the Mass the same all around the world? Well, in the Latin, right? Yeah, except there are a few differences and there's things in different languages, but it was certainly easy for us to follow. But remember that there are different rites. There are different Catholic rites. So there, the Byzantine Rite Catholics, they pray Mass. They call it Divine Liturgy very differently than we Roman Rite Catholics do. If you were to celebrate Mass in the Milanese Rite, or the, here in Home at Thibodeau, we have several priests who are generously serving as missionaries here in our diocese from India. And some of those priests, when they say Mass like by themselves or with a group of other priests from the same region of India or whatever, they'll actually celebrate Mass differently in what's called the Syro-Malabar Rite. So more or less what happened was that the apostles, when they went and evangelized, they scattered all around the world. And they ended up in different places. And as the apostles ended up in different places, different ways of celebrating the Mass or the Divine Liturgy came together. So, of course, Peter and Paul were in Rome, and we're Roman Rite Catholics. At least most of us listen are Roman Rite Catholics. Holy Cross is a Roman Rite parish, and so we pray in the Roman Rite. But St. Thomas didn't go to Rome. St. Thomas went to India. And so in India, you'll find the Syro-Malabar Rite, which has traces, which traces its roots back to St. Thomas the Apostle. In Constantinople, it's somewhere around there, some kind of way, you have the Greek Rite, or rather the Byzantine Rite, which traces its origins back to St. Andrew, the brother of St. Peter. And there are several other rites and other churches within the Catholic Church. They're in union with the Pope. They're in union with Rome. They're 100% Catholic. There are also the Orthodox churches which are not Catholic, which are in schism which are separated from Rome, which is not good. And we pray for their unity, for them to come back to the fullness of the truth in the Catholic Church. But there are all these other rites. So is the Mass the same everywhere in the world? Well, the Roman Rite is very similar anywhere in the world that you say it. But you might also find a Byzantine Rite parish or a Ukrainian Rite parish. But I have to say, I've went to a Ukrainian Rite Divine Liturgy, and I was able to more or less know what was happening, even though a lot of it was in Ukrainian, and it was a different rite. So is the Mass all the same around the world? Well, not exactly, but is it? Can you recognize it? Like, can a Catholic who goes to Mass every Sunday and who fully consciously, actively participates, like what's going on in Thailand for the Roman Rite, or in Omaha for the Ukrainian Rite, or that's where I was for the Ukrainian Rite Mass, or wherever it is? Yeah, I think so, because we are entering into the liturgy. We're entering specifically in the liturgy of the Mass. We're entering into heaven. Like, it's a place where heaven kisses earth in the Mass, where the Eucharist is confected. So that's the answer to your question. Is it the same? Yes or no? And I hope that explanation sheds a little light on it. God bless you.